Hello and welcome to the Capitol Report on Entity Television. I'm Steve Lance. In an apparent move to ease tensions with Israel, President Biden today meeting with Israeli President Isaac Herzog. This comes just days after Biden had some sharp words for the Israeli government. Entity's Iris Tao has more from the White House.
And President Biden today welcomed Israeli President Isaac Herzog to the White House, the two reaffirming ties as Israel celebrates its 75th anniversary.
America's commitment to Israel is firm, and it is ironclad.
President Biden reiterated his ironclad commitment and his utter friendship and love of the state of Israel.
But the meeting with the Israeli president, who really just holds a ceremonial position, and comes amid tensions between President Biden and the leader of Israel's ruling coalition, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And President Biden has criticized Netanyahu's plan for a judicial overhaul in his country. And just days ago, President Biden said this about his cabinet.
Some members of his cabinet, and this is one of the most extreme members of cabinets that I've seen.
And President Biden was also facing scrutiny for not having invited Netanyahu to the White House after he returned to office in December. But on Monday, President Biden called Netanyahu and finally extended that invitation in trying to ease tensions.
They have agreed that they will meet probably before the end of this year, and all the details of the wheres and the whens are still being worked out.
But the White House also made clear that the agreement to meet does not mean that President Biden has given up his opposition to the judicial changes backed by Netanyahu's government. Reporting from the White House, Iris Tao, NTD News.
And the House taking a vote to solidify its support for Israel. This following controversial comments now retracted from Democratic Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, calling Israel a racist state. The Democratic leadership, however, is seeking to disassociate the party from these remarks. NTD's Melina Wisecup reports from Capitol Hill. So, Melina, what was the result of today's vote? Was there anything that stood out to you?
So the final result was a strong bipartisan vote, but the shocking part, Steve, was that not all lawmakers voted for this resolution. There were 9 no votes coming from the Democrat side, as well as 1 voting present, with about a dozen people not casting a vote. Now, this bill does 3 things. 1, it solidifies Congress's support for the state of Israel. The 2nd, rejects anti-Semitism in all forms. And the 3rd, specifically says that Israel is not a racist state. Here's the backstory to that. This vote comes just 2 days after Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal, chair of the Progressive Caucus, called Israel a racist state, only to walk this back, instead calling Prime Minister Netanyahu's policies racist.
Now, she can try to walk it back. She said it. She knows words mean something. But yeah, it's particularly with the state this country's in now, unacceptable.
More than 40 Democrats, including some members of the Progressive Caucus, released a statement saying they're concerned about her comments, writing any efforts to rewrite history and question the Jewish state's right to exist or our historic bipartisan relationship will never succeed in Congress. And Democrat leadership quickly distanced the party from the controversial comments, hammering the message that this is not their party's take on the state of Israel. What do you say about the way Congress views the relationship with Israel?
It's an incredibly special relationship with Israel. We welcome the president of Israel tomorrow. There's unity in the Democratic caucus.
Anytime there is any anti-Jewish hate, we condemn it. And our commitment to Israel. And it is unwavering, it is unshakable.
But the majority of all lawmakers in Congress are expected to be present for this joint address tomorrow afternoon. Steve?
The House Oversight Committee today releasing a timeline documenting the Biden family's alleged influence peddling. This as the committee is preparing to hear testimony from 2 IRS whistleblowers. NTD's Arian Pazdar brings us more.
The House Oversight Committee on Tuesday released a new timeline. Lawmakers say the timeline contains important dates as to when Joe Biden knew and lied to the American people about his family's business schemes. One of the main takeaways is that Hunter Biden was allegedly involved in deals with foreign nationals from Kazakhstan, Ukraine, and Romania while his father was in office. The timeline alleges, for example, that Biden family accounts received approximately $1.038 million from the Robinson Walker LLC, which got the money from Romanian nationals. Lawmakers also say that then Vice President Biden traveled to Romania to meet with people involved in the scheme. In total, the Biden family allegedly received over $10 million from foreign nationals and their related companies. President Biden has repeatedly denied knowing anything about his family's business dealings. The release of the new timeline comes just a day before two major IRS whistleblowers are expected to testify before the Oversight Committee. Biden-appointed officials allegedly interfered with the investigation into Hunter Biden. The two whistleblowers are expected to testify on the alleged interference. On Tuesday, Committee Chairman James Comer told NTD's Melina Weisskopf about the two witnesses and the goals of the hearing.
Two of the highest-ranking IRS employees who were in charge of international crime fraud. So they're going to be able to answer very substantive, specific questions about whether or not crimes were committed and what obstacles they faced in trying to conduct a thorough investigation.
One of the two witnesses is still anonymous, and documents refer to him only as Mr. X. Fearing retaliation, some Republican senators on Tuesday sent a letter to Attorney General Merrick Garland and FBI Director Christopher Wray, writing, "We demand that you commit that no taxpayer funds will be used by DOJ or FBI to expose the identity of or retaliate against any whistleblowers." Arian Pastar, NTD News.
And lawmakers today are looking into the state of religious repression inside communist China, what was discussed and what solutions were proposed. NTD's Sam Wong brings us more from Capitol Hill.
The House Foreign Affairs Committee on Tuesday did a deep dive on the current state of religious freedom around the world, and China was once again front and center of their discussion. Here's what they said.
The Chinese Communist Party has undertaken the most comprehensive attempt to manipulate and control or destroy religious communities since Chairman Mao Zedong made the eradication of religion a goal of his disastrous Cultural Revolution more than half a century ago.
That was Congressman Chris Smith, a senior member of the committee. He's also the chairman of the Congressional Executive Commission on China. Earlier this year, Smith introduced a bill aimed at stifling state-sponsored organ harvesting against Falun Gong practitioners in China. Shortly after the bill passed the House, his aide received an email from a top CCP official, ridiculing Smith while denying all accusations. Smith told me that Washington needs to do more to sanction the Chinese regime's behavior so that the U.S. can maintain a beacon of hope for communities of faith.
My hope is that, this America, the United States, would truly be a safe haven for those who have fled this tyranny, not a place where the bad guys can come with impunity and do terrible things to believers and to Falun Gong practitioners.
The CCP's persecution of Falun Gong is also happening in the U.S. The FBI back in May charged two Chinese agents over a bribery scheme backed by Beijing. The two were accused of paying off a U.S. public official with tens of thousands of dollars in an effort to topple Falun Gong practitioners in the United States. Rashad Hussain, the ambassador at large for international religious freedom, brought up a similar case.
As an example, in April, the FBI arrested two individuals in connection with opening and operating an illegal overseas police station in Manhattan, which targeted Falun Gong practitioners and other members of the Chinese community on U.S. soil.
Hussain urged Washington to use a wide range of tools, including visa restrictions, financial sanctions, to address the CCP's human rights abuse against religious groups in China. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Sam Wong, NTD News.
Thank you for watching the Capitol Report. If you want to see our full broadcast, check us out at epochtv.com.